So are mirrors portals? Because I just had something crazy happen to me. So are mirrors portals? Because I just had something crazy happen to me. So I need y'all to help explain what the heck just happened. So I'm in a grocery store parking lot and I'm filming TikToks. And this SUV pulls up beside me to park and 3 people get out. And they go into the grocery store. And so I'm editing and stuff like that. And eventually they come back out and they're putting groceries in the back of their SUV. And I'm watching all this through my side view mirror. And I see, when they pull up and I'm looking, because I'm always aware of what's around me. And they're putting stuff in there. And 2 individuals get in the front seats. And then a woman puts the last bag in the back of the SUV. Our vehicles are parked close together, so they had to back up a little bit to give her room to open up the back door so she can get in. So she gets in, and then they leave. So I go back to recording and stuff like that, and about a minute or 2 later, something in my side view mirror catches my eye, and I look, and it's the woman putting groceries back in the SUV. It's the same thing, like on repeat. It just repeated one more time. And so I looked over, and then I got out my car, like, what the heck is that? Did they come back? Nobody's there. They're gone. There's nobody behind me. There's no woman. It was the same woman doing the same thing I had just seen a couple minutes earlier, and she was doing it again. And all this is taking place in my side view mirror. Somebody explain, what the heck is that?
It said that this girl went missing back in 2001 after recording this video where she placed 2 mirrors together and something really strange happened.
Something really strange going on here, and if something ends up happening to me, I just hope that this video can maybe explain it. Okay, so I have these 2 mirrors in my room. As you can see, they're pretty normal looking mirrors, but I was cleaning and I had them kind of set up like this, and I noticed something really weird. Just watch. See, when you look through the mirror into the other one, it becomes like a window.
I don't know if people know this or not, but facing 2 mirrors together is something you just shouldn't do, and it's said to open portals or bring in really bad energies or spirits. Sometimes good, but usually bad.
And there's this huge warehouse grocery store or something down there. But wait, it gets even crazier. Watch this. Out for the moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. Oh. What is this place? Hello? How far does it go? Oh, shit.
Do y'all remember that show, Supermarket Sweep? That last clip reminded me of it, and I wish it was still a thing because I would want to try out and be on the show, but let me know your thoughts about that. Do y'all really think that she went through that mirror? Do you really think that it was a portal?
I don't even know how to say this, but I experienced a glitch in the Matrix funeral edition. And honestly, this is probably one of the craziest, most unexplainable events in my entire life. I am losing sleep over it. So I'm asking somebody to please take notes and help me understand this because I literally just can't. So 2 months ago, I make funeral arrangements with the family. They have a cremation and they order 50 prayer cards. 50 prayer cards. Now, the cards they picked out were so unique, so rare, so beautiful. I'd never even seen them before. Don't carry them. I had to order them custom made from a third-party vendor, in which I did. They mailed them to me. Now, I held on to those prayer cards and the cremated remains for about 2 months until last week on Friday when the family called because they wanted to pick them up. So they come in, they pick them up. I'm like, oh, when are you having your service? They said they're going to do something on Sunday, which is in 2 days. I was like, oh, that's really nice. Where are you having it? They were like, we haven't decided it yet. Anna was really old and she kind of outlived all of her friends, so we'll figure it out. I'm like, great. I hope it's beautiful and so on and so forth. I didn't go, wasn't invited, didn't keep in touch, whatever. Now Monday rolls around, okay? So that was Friday, now we're on Monday. And I get a message from a restaurant who had called and they were asking why we mailed them prayer cards. I didn't mail any restaurant prayer cards. Like, what is this about? I call them back. I'm like, why do you think I mailed you prayer cards? She was like, because your ad is on them. You know, we put the funeral home ad on the prayer cards. I was like, no, I didn't mail you anything. What is the return address on the envelope? She said there was none. I'm like, well, that's weird. I don't know. I was like, what is the name of the deceased? You know, she says Aunt Ida. I was like, well, that's weird. I was like, I gave the family those cards on Friday. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they mailed them to you. Like, maybe I thought maybe they didn't have their service on Sunday. I don't really know. I just know I didn't do it. So I was like, they'll figure it out. Later that day, I get a phone call from the daughter of Aunt Ida. She's like, Melissa, why did you mail the restaurant prayer cards? I was like, I didn't. It's like, I talked to the restaurant. I explained her the same thing I explained to you. She was like, how did you know we went to that restaurant? I was like, I didn't know you went there. I didn't know anything. She said, yeah, we went there yesterday, which was Sunday. And I said, did you have the prayer cards that I gave you? She said, yeah, 50 of them. She said that she handed some out. She even had a few extra. I was like, okay, that's weird. I said, you know, when you go to the restaurant and pick up those prayer cards that were mailed to you, can you give me a call? Because I'm thinking the prayer cards have to be different. Maybe like a friend or something found out that was the restaurant, ordered them, they came late. I don't know, but there has to be a reasonable explanation. Well, she goes and she gets them and she calls me. And the prayer cards, the custom prayer cards that I had ordered from a third-party company, they were exactly the same, identical. Ad on it and everything. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. I'm like, return address? She said no. But the post, you know, like when it goes to the post office, was a zip code that wasn't near either of us. So I was like, or the company I ordered it from, like totally different county. I was like, this is really weird. So we were just like, wow, unexplainable. But I don't let things go. So I called the company because now I'm thinking maybe there is a chance that, like, I don't know, somebody in the office ordered it and like somehow magically knew the restaurant and mailed them. Like, that would be crazy, but there's gotta be some kind of reasonable explanation that there is more than 50 identical prayer cards, right? Well, here's what happens.
Right, so yeah, you got 50 the last time.
And there was never a reorder put in?
No, there was not.
Long pause.
Okay. You know,
So mean.
can I just tell you something really quick?
So if you follow me, you understand that only 50 prayer cards were ever ordered. Custom prayer cards were ever ordered. Family picked them up on Friday. They had their celebration on Sunday. They handed some out. They had a few extra. Monday morning rolls around and there is 50 identical prayer cards that show up to the restaurant that they only chose on Saturday night. She literally has more than 50 prayer cards in her possession. And to be honest, they didn't need an additional 50 prayer cards. Me and Ida's daughter have literally exhausted any, even the wildest, craziest reason how this could happen. It's impossible. Make it make sense.
I cannot make sense. Still, what happened this morning? Okay, so I'm out of town, staying at a hotel because I'm here for a work function. But our meetings start at 10 a.m. It's 7:10 this morning. My alarm goes off. I'm like, I need a couple more minutes. I put my phone down. I roll back over. All of a sudden, I can feel my phone in my hand. Like, almost as if it was placed in my hand. You know? I'm like, the fuck? So I roll over. My phone is, in fact, in my hand. I know. I did... I click the side of my phone. It says 11:30. Bitch, I jumped out of bed so fast. So fast. And I look like one of those cartoon characters that are like getting pinged, like bing, bing, because I have no idea what to do with myself. Immediately, give the manager a call. And he's like, hi, buddy, good morning. And I'm like, good morning. He goes, hey, you good? And I was like, well, it's 11:30, and I'm not there. He goes, when do you know? You're early as usual. Because I always arrive early. This is 7:30 in the morning. I doubt this man has even left his house. He's having breakfast with his family. And then he proceeds to tell me, like, the time, the day of the week. And I'm like, like, I'm looking at my phone, my guy. It says 11:30. What? There's another person here for the same function, so I run to the window, and I look, and I see their car, and I'm like, well, there's no way they're late, too. Anyway, I hang up, I sit down, and I'm, like, trying to collect my thoughts. Like, what? Mind you, while we're on the phone, I take a screenshot. Because I'm like, I'm looking at 11:30. Take a screenshot. After I sit down, I can't log back into my phone. It will not let me. So I turn it off. When I go to squeeze my phone to turn it back on, it falls on the floor face down. I lean down here, my phone, pick it back up, and it's on. Like, not turning on, whatever, it's on. And it says 7:30. I log into my phone, immediately go to my pictures, no screenshot. Like, is this a traumatic event? Absolutely not. Does it not make any fucking sense? Absolutely. And I don't accept this. What happened?
Okay, I got cut from work, but I have to talk to you because I'm experiencing a glitch in the Matrix. You know, I read about these things and I watch that Anti-Matrix and stuff like that, and I'm like always fascinated by it, but it's never happened to me, and this is super weird, and I just need to tell you about it. When I was in college, you know, I was in the music program because of musical theater, and the chair of the music department, well, I mean, she was awful to me. I actually have a story, a video that is still posted on my account that like is about how she didn't cast any people of color in a show where like part of the cast is supposed to be people of color, and then she just put them all in blackface. But it wasn't just that. Like, she would constantly yell at me and constantly demean me, and she made me feel like in theater being black is a setback. That stayed with me for decades. It was really hard to not believe that for a very long time. Actually, there are a lot of people that I know and I'm still friends with that, you know, she was pretty awful to be honest. But anyway, 2 years ago, she passed away. She passed away from, I think, cancer, and her daughter posted something on Facebook about it. It was amazing because all of her old students just came out of the woodwork to like talk about how devastated they were and how horrible this is, and this is just a tragedy. I have a very close friend who also was in the music program with me, and I remember that she sent me like a Marco Polo. If you have the app, you know. She sent me a Marco Polo being like, I feel bad because I feel like that line in a chorus line, and then she sang it. She was like, because I felt nothing. Oh, the song about Mr. Carp, whatever. If you don't know chorus line, just, it doesn't matter. And I was like, girl, same, you know, we both felt the same way. But the crazy thing was, if we went on Facebook, all of the people that were devastated about this horrible loss were like people that had also talked shit about her, you know. They even vague booked about it because I was like so annoyed. I also a couple weeks ago made a video about how I have like this intense memory for like certain things, right? I have a very intense memory of the day that I found out that this woman died. I remember what I was wearing. I remember exactly where I was sitting when I learned it. I remember where I was sitting when I got that Marco Polo from my friend. Cut to today, okay? This happened maybe like 35 minutes ago, okay? I get a text from my friend being like, I can't believe we haven't talked about this. The chair of the music department passed away. That's just what I'm gonna call her because I'm not gonna say her name. I was like, no. You're crazy. This has already happened. The next text she says is, I feel bad because I feel like that line from a chorus line. No. Okay, this has already happened and you've said exactly that. Then I go onto Facebook because I'm thinking this must be like a memory from 2 years ago or something, and it's just like resurfacing as like a memory on my friend's page, right? No, it wasn't. This was posted like a few hours ago. Even worse, remember when I said the thing about people like, you know, who had just talked shit about her and had a bad experience with her and who are now saying that they're devastated? Well, the main person in that was the person's post that I saw talking about how devastated they were that this woman passed. Everything is happening exactly as it happened that day, only instead of me being in bed when I'm reading this information, I was at work. I'm genuinely freaking out right now. How is this possible? How is this possible? Of course I went scrolling through my Facebook to try to find that vague post that I made. It's not there. It's not there. Like, what the hell is going on? I actually have a wild theory about it, and it has to do with quantum immortality, and I think that that's insane. That's insane, right? Oh my God, please don't judge me for this because I know how I sound. But like a couple of years ago, I got into this car accident on my drive home from work. I was hit by a drunk driver who was driving in the wrong lane and didn't brake, hit me going 40 miles an hour. Just destroyed my car, okay? I was wearing a seatbelt, and I remember that after, you know, the car accident happened and after like all the fogginess, you know, that happens after you get hit, everything seemed off. Everything seemed weird. I couldn't hear for a while, but I did not have a scratch on me. Like, I had lots of bruises from the seatbelt, but I didn't have a scratch on me. The police get to my car and they're like, I don't know how you survived this. The ambulance gets there to take me to the hospital to get checked out, and they're saying that they don't know how I survived this, much less no scratch, right? And everything kind of felt off since then. And, you know, I kind of like researched it and looked on Reddit, and that's where I found out about quantum immortality. Like, maybe I'm in a different timeline. I think that's crazy. I just want to be clear. I mean, I suppose it's possible, but I mean, but maybe I'm in a different timeline where she hadn't passed yet. I am losing my mind. This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm genuinely cracking up right now. I mean, honestly, just tell me in the comments if you think this is insane or if you have any theories. Like, seriously, this is insane. Okay, bye.
If you've never experienced a glitch in the Matrix, this is probably not the video for you. So just continue scrolling because you're going to think that I'm crazy. If you have experienced it, I want to know if anyone has experienced anything similar to this, especially from a young age. So I've had multiple glitches throughout my life, especially now that I've gotten older, I can understand what's happening. But I want to talk about the very first one. The very first one that I can remember that I was like, am I crazy or are all of you crazy? So this is around 4th or 5th grade, elementary school. My grandma would pick me up from school 2 to 3 times a week. We were very close. My grandma lived like rock throwing distance from my house. So I would literally travel up the creek through the woods to my grandmother's house that I would go. I would spend all my time with my grandma. So after school, she would pick me up and we would go to Wendy's. That was our thing. We loved Wendy's. My grandma has very prominent blue eyes, like crystal clear. It's a very prominent feature about my grandma that she has very blue, piercing crystal blue eyes. So this one day, she picks me up. We go to Wendy's. We're sitting in the glass area. If you know Wendy's back then you know what I'm talking about. We're sitting there eating our fries, and I look up at my grandma, and my grandma has brown eyes. They're brown. And so naturally, I was like, Grandma, your eyes are brown. And she was like, yeah, Lauren, I have brown eyes. I was like, Grandma, no, you don't. You have very blue eyes. What do you mean you have blue eyes? And she was like, no, Lauren, I have brown eyes. So whatever, we eat. She takes me home, and this is the whole thing. I talked to my mom too, and I'm like, Mom, Grandma has brown eyes. And my mom was like, yeah, Grandma has brown eyes. No, she doesn't. She has blue eyes. What do you mean she has brown eyes? Like, everyone knows that Grandma has blue eyes, and everybody was making me believe that I was crazy. The next time that I see my grandma, 3 days later, my grandma has blue eyes again. So of course I'm like, Grandma, your eyes are blue. Why are your eyes blue? And she's like, yeah, Lauren, I have blue eyes. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? We just had this conversation 3 days ago when you had brown eyes, and I told you that you had blue eyes, and you're telling me that you have brown eyes, but I know that you have blue eyes, and now that you have blue eyes again, you're telling me that you know you have blue eyes? I'm not crazy. This was not a dream. I did not dream this. This happened. This was reality. I mean, it was like Monday on Thursday. Now you have blue eyes again? Like, I did not make this up. This is still with me to this day. I think about this to this day. My grandma had brown eyes that day that I went to Wendy's with her after school. I didn't make that shit up. Like, that was reality. I didn't miss a day. Like, this happened. Has anybody else ever experienced anything like that? With people's eyes changing colors? And they fully believe that their eyes were a different color. I'll never forget that.
So for the last week, things have been strange, and I was pretty sure I timeline jumped. And I've been looking for evidence, but I haven't been able to find any, right? If you don't believe in this stuff, I really don't care. Keep scrolling. But if you do, then I found something that's evidence, and it's pretty interesting. So I wanted to share it with you guys. I am a psychic medium for anybody who doesn't already know, and for anybody who's afraid of it or anything like that. Timeline jumping is actually something that happens really commonly. It has a lot to do with your energy vibration, your frequency, your thoughts. Your reality is actually created by your mind. Anyway, that's another video. But I, for the last week, have been seeing things kind of weird. And like I said, I was pretty sure I timeline jumped. It's happened to me a bunch. It happens to me a lot. But I can usually feel it when it happens, or I notice something. Things seem off. You might have also noticed if you have timeline jumped before. But I have been looking around for evidence, and usually evidence comes in the form of if things are missing, things are different, things that were broken are no longer broken. So I found something. Check it out. Anyway, so this bra I'm wearing, I found it in California at a Ross, and it was super cute, and it was only $7, right? But it has a zipper on the front, and then I'm going to show you the inside in just a second. Hold on. First, let me point out that I always love a good zipper bra. They're wonderful. I love them, right? But this one has, I'm not going to get naked. It has this little, can you see that little claspy thing? It has the little, it was coming off, bra claspy thing on the inside, right? So I got this when I got to California from a Ross, right? This was 2 months ago, whatever. I got it in with the first couple of days of getting there. I wore it once, and when I washed it, that little claspy thing, the part with the hook on it, broke off, and the hook was gone. I was at my grandparents' house. I looked for it for forever, but I couldn't find it. I've worn it twice since then, and was sad about it both. I mean, I wasn't sad, but I noted both times that the hook was missing until a week ago when, I said, I timeline jumped it. I've been looking for an explanation. Anyway, when I took it out of the washer yesterday, I went to go put it on today, the hook's back. It's back and it's not broken. And I'm happy again because I love this bra. I know it looks like I'm going to the gym, but I'm actually going to Starbucks and the grocery store to pick up Daddy's.
Let's talk about the craziest proof of a timeline, of two different timelines. There's two groups of people. Those who have just seen the crescent moon on the bottom for the first time, and then those who say they've always seen it like that. This, hands down, is the biggest proof I have ever fucking seen for the fact that there is always two different timelines. There might be multiple happening with amongst all of us as humans right now. But I want to ask you that. What do you think about that? Have you seen the crescent moon on the bottom like that? Or is this the first time? For me, I'm in a timeline where this is the first... Where are you going, dog? This is the first time I've ever seen this, a timeline like that, where... Have you seen the crescent moon?
Yes, it's not right. This isn't real. This isn't the reality we used to know. This is a different one.
So I actually have a video that I took of the crescent moon, and it's the first time I've ever seen it shaped that way, and I thought it was crazy. Like, I couldn't believe what I seen, which is why I actually took the video. I posted it on TikTok. I'm looking for it now so I can edit and add it in. But no, I never remember it looking like that. If you have, please let me know in the comments.
Let's talk about the craziest proof of a timeline, of two different timelines.
I'm just an observer, so I can't say I know that much about the moon, only what I see. I don't know if I ever recall seeing the crescent moon at the bottom like that. But what I do know is that when I went out the day after that little Cheshire moon with the crescent at the bottom, the moon had already flipped around and it had skipped about 2 days in its moon phase, meaning that it was fuller than it was supposed to be. So as someone who pays attention to the moon and moon phases, I can say that was a little bit strange. Now, was it the strangest timeline jumping experience I've ever seen? No. You know that movie Shazam that they say that Sinbad didn't make? No, you know that movie Shazam that Sinbad says he didn't make? Well, I saw it on TV in 2016. I flipped to a channel. I saw the movie on and I started to watch it for about 2 or 3 minutes. I flipped away from the channel. I flipped back to the channel and the movie was gone. So that's the craziest timeline jumping experience I've ever had.
I definitely remember watching the movie Shazam. Let me know if you guys do too.
So you know how they say you can jump timelines? I feel like I jumped timelines for the first time, or it may have been happened before then, I don't know, but I know for sure in November of 2017 I jumped timelines, and I have proof. But before I show you the proof, let me give you the backstory. So I think it was like November the 24th, November 25th, something like that, of 2017. I went to go check on my kids, and I found my son in the bed, unconscious, foaming at the mouth. Literally freaked the fuck out. Grabbed my son, rushed to the hospital. Me and my sister were together. She drove me to the hospital. I'm just like rocking him, telling him, please, baby, breathe. He was breathing, but he was like struggling to breathe. So when he got to the hospital, they rushed him to the back. They couldn't figure out what was going on because they were not equipped to deal with children, which is crazy. How do you have a fucking emergency room that you're not equipped to deal with children? But anyway, so they just gave him a breathing tube and transferred him to USA in Mobile, Alabama, which is a children's hospital. It's an infirmary, but they have a children's hospital that's separate. So we get there. They get him like stable for the night, but he's still unconscious. Like that, he's medically unconscious. They put him unconscious because they couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. So when they figured out he was having seizures, they started to do some anti-seizure medicine to try to help get it under control. Well, they wound up getting it under control, but my son had an adult breathing tube in because the people in Gulfport didn't have a children's breathing tube. So the doctor told us the risk, and he was like, you know, if his throat swelled up, we'll just give him steroids. So I suggested giving him steroids before because I knew that his throat was going to swell up. I just felt it in my soul, and lo and behold, they pulled that motherfucker out and his throat swelled up. So because they did not prevent him from having this, he started having complications from his throat closing and him not being able to breathe. Well, my son had a heart attack. My son had his lung collapsed. Like, they literally called my son the miracle child, the fact that he made it. But you know, mama was on it, praying, meditating. Like, I did everything. I used every tool I knew to bring my baby up out of there, and he made it. He is healthy now. He don't have any more issues with seizures. But it was crazy because he had never had any medical condition before then. So, you know, we wound up getting out the hospital. I started staying with my mom for the remainder of that month. We got out the hospital like the end of December, right before Christmas. So I started staying with my mom, and by January, I had found me a place, moved in, and I was going through all of my old videos because I was doing YouTube videos at the time, and I was going through all of my old videos, and I ran across this collection of pictures. Now, when I used to do YouTube, before I would do YouTube on the floor in my bedroom, and my phone would randomly take pictures, like just randomly take spurts of pictures. Well, go to part 2. Okay, so part 2. So I'm going through my camera roll, and like I said, I see these pictures that my phone randomly took. Like, I didn't take these pictures myself. My phone literally was randomly taking, and it would always do this. It would always take random pictures of me. Even the phone I have now, it randomly does screenshots. Like, my phones be doing weird shit, and I know it's because I got a high energy. I get it. No biggie. I'm not tripping, and I have a lot of energy around me. But what happened, what I seen on the camera roll is what shocked me. So I'm going to pull it up now, and I'm going to let y'all see. I'm not going to tell you what I saw, but I'm going to let y'all see, and I'm going to let y'all make y'all own determination on what the fuck happened. Okay, so you see this? Mind you, this was all taken within a 10, like, you know how they do shutter spurts? This was taking shutter spurts. As you see here, I'm here. I disappeared. And you see the background is still the same. This ain't no motherfucking Photoshop. When I saw this fucking picture, I was like, where the fuck did I go? Because I don't remember what the fuck happened. And all I can think and all I can assume is that I jumped timelines. I had to, because this was the night that I almost lost my son. And I did this, like, I was doing this video maybe like about an hour or two before all of this happened. Like, y'all fucking see this? How do you fucking explain that? How do you explain me disappearing in the midst of some shutter shots? And I've been like keeping this to myself for years, because how the fuck do I explain it? How do I explain that I fucking disappeared? And I don't know. And mind you, I always have supernatural stuff happen to me. Like, I got so many motherfucking stories of things that have happened to me that are just unexplainable. But this is the only thing that I have proof, like actual physical proof, like some fuck shit went on. Some fuck shit went on. But if y'all want to hear about some of the stuff that I've had to experience supernatural, let me know, and I'll do some story times on that too. And then, you know what also be upsetting me? I be telling people all the time, I do not look, like, if you look at those pictures, I do not look the same. I look so much different than what I used to look. I literally am a whole different person. And people don't believe me. They be like, oh, well, you just aged. No, my whole fucking facial structure has changed. Like, I look like a different woman. I'm not, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it.
You are probably right. I'm going to tell you another story, and it is not deja vu. It is not deja rêve. It is a secret third thing, and I would love to know if anyone has ever experienced anything like what I'm about to say. So this happened in November, end of November in 2021. I was living with my ex at the time, and we were making dinner. I'm standing at the island in the kitchen, and she has her back turned to me. She's facing the toaster, and I remember this specifically because she was toasting bread to go with her spaghetti, and I was having a thought process of, I just had never heard of anyone toasting bread to go with their spaghetti. I'm sure that's a thing. Like, I've heard of garlic bread and spaghetti, but I just hadn't thought of like toast with spaghetti. So I was thinking about that. Again, her back is facing me. She starts talking. All of a sudden, in the middle of her sentence, my ears start ringing like crazy. Disclaimer, this is when I start to sound absolutely insane. Okay, you don't have to tell me, I know. I feel a sensation I have never felt before, which is the feeling of being above my body and slamming back into it, as if I was just somewhere else and I have just arrived in my body. And in the same way, you know, when you wake up from a dream and like you're clinging to the details of the dream and it just starts to slip through your fingers the moment you wake up. Like that, I was starting to forget where I just was. But I was repeating a few things over and over again in my head from where I just was. And those two things were, why am I here again? I've already done all this and I have to do it right this time. Again, why am I back here? I've already done all this and I have to do it right this time. Over and over, that was all I retained from it, but it was a physical sensation of dropping into my body, like almost like I respawned in a video game. I had this distinct feeling that I was older. Like I don't know how to say that without sounding insane, but the first few moments of me being back in my body were spent looking around in disbelief and wonder that I was back here again, which terrified me. And simultaneously, almost as if it was like a visual, and I know this sounds fucking crazy, almost visually, I can see in front of me the paths from that exact moment. On one of the two, like, paths, if you will, is me responding normally to what my ex was saying. Like, she was saying something about her pasta bread and I responded normally to that. And then on the other side was the one that I felt like I was on, was the one where instead of responding to the bread comment, I said, hold up, I just had the most insane fucking deja vu of my life. But before I felt the path fork sort of situation, for a split second, it felt as if, and I know this sounds insane, but it's important, it felt like I was holding two memories of the same moment, and then they changed, and then that path went that way, and I went this way, and I could no longer see that, and then it all faded. It was all over in like 10 seconds. But this is where it gets insane. I say, hold up, I just had the most insane deja vu of my entire life. I went, I feel like I just slammed back into my body. That's all I said. I'm expecting her to just be like, wow, that's crazy, because that's what everyone always does. Instead, she turns around and looks at me with absolute horror in her face and says, wait, that happened to me today too. She said, I was standing in the aisle hanging things at work and I felt like I slammed back into my body. And she said, I didn't even say it out loud. She said, I felt like I was holding two memories of the same moment and then it split. And we just stood there staring at each other in absolute disbelief. And I never was the same after that. Ever. It changed my entire perception of time. Like, it broke my brain. I actually for a while was afraid that I had experienced some sort of psychosis or something, so I would talk to my therapist about it and she was like, this does not sound like psychosis to me, but it bothers me to this day because there was a distinct feeling that I felt in that moment that did not feel like deja vu or deja reve. It was distinct and it's never happened before and it's never happened since, and it fucks me up because those are the only two things I remember. Like, why was my thought, I have to do it right this time? Do what? Do what right this time? That's a lot of pressure. What happened last time? Did I die and then respawn for real? Anyway, my whole life changed after that. And for the record, I'm pleased with my life now. Like, we're good. Everything's great. Has anything like this ever happened to any of you? I don't have words for it. And since we're on the topic, I felt like it might be a good time to bring it up because I've been searching for answers. Also, fun fact, me telling that story was actually the first video I ever recorded on this TikTok account. It's still sitting in my drafts. I obviously never posted it, but I recorded that video like right after it happened because it was so insane that I was like, I feel like I should share this with the internet, but then I was scared of the internet back then. So I didn't, but now I'm telling it. And does anyone know what it was? Thank you so much.
What color was Britney Spears' skirt in Hit Me Baby One More Time? Was it plaid, gray, or was it black? It actually was black, and it's always been black. It has never been plaid. That right there kind of blew my mind, even though Britney Spears, obviously, we're going to get into it, but that one right there kind of was like, I remember it being gray plaid, but okay, maybe I'm tripping. But let's go to the headset. Yes, the headset, and oops, I did it again. There is a headset that everybody remembers, but apparently never happened. It never happened, but here's the question. Okay, it never happened. In 2001, on the show Lizzie McGuire, here it is, why did she dress up as Britney Spears and it had a headset? Also, why did the official doll have a headset? The official doll with the CD that came out had her in the iconic red suit with a headset. How come there were so many Halloween costumes with the red suit and a headset? How come so many people dressed up back then that went all the way out to get the outfit spot on has a headset? Now, also, and this is the thing that blew my mind. Look at this video. Doesn't it look like she's fixing a headset? Doesn't it look like she put her hand? Why would you do this motion? Why? So the question is, did we all just misremember this? Or did they really take this out? Or did we really jump timelines? I know this has been a topic for a while, but which one is it? Which one do you think? Do you think that they actually took this headset off? Or do you think that it was never there? Or do you think in our timeline it was there and now it's not? Let me know. It's us.
The secret of our timeline jump. Exposed by VHS.
For stovetop stuffing, we all know it, we all remember it, we all know that we ate it around this time of year, but in this timeline they say that it doesn't exist. I don't believe that. So here's what I want us to do. So during the holiday season, when you're looking for all the ingredients to make the turkeys and the Thanksgiving dinners and everything, look in the back of the cabinet where the turmeric's at and all those seasonings that you don't use, and see if you have a box of Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. I believe that it doesn't go bad for like 50 fucking years, so it's in there. If you have it, bring it out. Show us, post us, and if people are coming over, family members, and you're doing a potluck type of deal, put Stouffer's stovetop stuffing in the ingredients list and email it out to family and friends and see if somebody brings it over, because I am for sure know there's somewhere. It's here somewhere. Let's find this thing this holiday season. We only got a couple of times a year to actually get everybody together and actually find this thing, and this is one of them. So let's come together. Put your emails out, look in the back of your cabinets, and let's find this motherfucking Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. It's us.
It literally looks like you. Yeah. Oh my god, that's so weird.
Because it was white out. Brittany definitely had a matching skirt and top set. Headphones was a must. It was in the music video. Most people remember it that way. Stouffer's, definitely remember Stouffer's. I feel like that was my responsibility on Sundays to make the Stouffer's stuffing. What else? Kit Kat absolutely had a dash in it. I remember that for sure. Let me know what you guys remember. And as always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next video.